project delivery principles are great in that they underpin the application and the mindset behind the tools, the techniques, the inputs and outputs of project management. However, we cannot build entire project management approaches on just the principles. We need the practices, and that's why the tools, the techniques, the inputs, and the outputs of project management should never be forgotten. But before that, we should have solid principles. A few days ago, I released my version of what project management personnel and business professionals alike should have in their forefront. So if you have not watched my video on the 12 principles that project managers should apply to business and projects, you may want to take a look at that after this. My principles are more humanistic and more about the human interaction on projects and the company at large. It deals more heavily with mindsets. But there are some interconnection points between my views and the views here. A few days ago, I also released a video talking about how the PMBOK Guide 7th edition should not be based on just principles. We need guidance on practices. Principles are great. Without them, practices will fall flat. In the same token, principles are good, but Mickey Mouse willy-nilly ad hoc application of tools and techniques will get you nowhere. And that's why I say both principles and practices are important. We cannot build a body of knowledge on just principles. And that's my view. With that said, let's take a look at the 12 principles presented in the draft of the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide, 7th edition. The first principle is built on the concept of servant leadership. The second is based on the concept of accountability. The third is based on the understanding that we should engage stakeholders. The fourth is based on the importance of value-driven project management and delivery. The fifth is based on system thinking, being able to connect the different pieces of the project in a systematic way, to have a systemic way of thinking. The sixth is all about developing the individual, coaching, training, mentoring, and pouring back into individuals. The seventh is all about the importance of tailoring the project management processes to the project, which relates back to practices. The eighth is quality, the importance of it and not losing sight of it. The ninth is about the importance of complexity. This has been heralded by the PMBOK Guide 6th edition, where the topic of complexity was very well broken down in Chapter 3 as a segue into integration. Complexity is not just as a result of the subject matter of the project. It could be as a result of the individuals on the project. It could be as a result of the multiplicity of facets of the project. And the subject matter coming together could present emergent conditions, which could offer a totally different dimension of complexity. The 10th is all about risk, taking care of threats, mitigating the threats, avoiding the threats, transferring the threats, escalating the threats, accepting the threats, whatever. But don't forget the opportunities. We need to share the opportunities where possible. We need to enhance or exploit those opportunities. We need to escalate those opportunities. And most importantly, if there's an opportunity, we need to identify the opportunities. This is indeed an important principle because a lot of organizations are not capturing opportunities. So while they may accept them, they may not vigorously pursue them and exploit them, they may not enhance them. They may not share them, and they may not escalate them, thinking that it's none of their business, leaving money on the table. We don't want to do that. If you have not checked out the curriculum for more advanced thinking in risk management, I want to invite you to do that. We had Dr. David Hilson present to us a more advanced way of thinking about risk management as presented in our Risk Management for Professionals training. If you are truly keen on knowing more about risk management, I would highly advise you to subscribe to that curriculum and learn more about risk management. Go to the Praizion.com website and look for Risk Management for Professionals. It's an on-demand curriculum that will blow the lid off your understanding regarding risk management. I highly recommend this body of work put together by Dr. David Hilson and I. Number 11, agility. Agility is all about change, change-driven project management, also known as an adaptive approach. Adaptive, change-driven, agile are all descriptors of a mindset. Agility is not a methodology. It is an overarching mindset across business and life. And those who are not agile are blocked off to the importance of rapid change. And those individuals are left behind. The final one is all about change itself. As we manage our projects, it is important that we remember change is to be expected. While we are adaptable and resilient in the world of agile, it is important to enable change, not to be closed off to change, to achieve the envisioned future state. Now we are done with my summaries of this body of work in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition draft. And again, I will say it is a very good beginning, but we cannot base project management entirely on principles without providing guidance and a framework for the effective and efficient practices, be they predictive, hybridized, or agile. Begin to see project management on a continuum, not black or white, red or yellow, but a continuum of colors from predictive through the hybridized motions to agile. I want to encourage every project manager to pick up the Agile Practice Guide at a minimum. And I would also like to invite you to think more about Agile by exploring our Agile 101 courses right there on Praizion.com. The course we provide for Agile Basics is not an ACP course. Rather, our expert takes you through the mindset of Agile, what exactly it is, and how you need to be thinking to be Agile. If you are keen on knowing more about this course, I would advise that you go to www.praizion.com and right here, click on Agile 101. It's a great entry-level course for those seeking to know what exactly Agile is and how to use Agile on their projects. If you've heard the term product backlog, sprint backlog, retrospective, and you still have no idea what that is, you may want to subscribe to this course for additional information. As you can see from the information provided so far, the PMI is tending very heavily towards the idea of an ecumenical idea of project management, bringing in both the world of agile and the world of predictive and creating a blend for your delivery. So why not learn more about these possibilities? I was training project management to a group of individuals a while back and introduced the idea of agile, and I could immediately see the hostility and people shutting down and not accepting what my colleague Roy and I were trying to deliver. But as we began to make a case for the importance of agile, those engineers began to change their focus on value. Being agile in moving towards the market and adding value to the customer. So agile is not a bad word. I want to encourage you to think a little bit more about agile as we begin to move slowly but surely into the throes of the 7th edition. Begin to think more about agile and begin to apply your paintbrush of predictive in a more collaborative way with those colleagues of yours, those possibilities of yours that are agile. And come up with your special blend to underpin Principle 11 and Principle 12 that the PMI is beginning to craft. Again, I want to clarify, principle-based project management has 2 prongs: the principles and the practices. And none is great without the other in the confines of project management. Let's take a look at the details behind these principles one by one. Be a diligent, respectful, and caring steward of the resources, human, equipment, material, supplies, finances of the project. Build a culture of accountability and respect. What does accountability mean? Accountability is the vision and the foresight and the understanding of the project manager that he or she is ultimately answerable to the outcomes on the project. Most importantly, when we talk about integration management, there's no cop-out for the project manager. All through the project as well, the mindset should be, I'm accountable, you may be responsible, you may be the doer, but passing the buck stops with me. Number 3, engage stakeholders to understand their interests and needs. Stakeholder engagement is a contact sport. You do need to get up from behind the desk and engage stakeholders, customers, team members, subject matter experts, those stakeholders that have an interest stake, those stakeholders that have an influence stake. 4, focus on value. Think lean. If it doesn't offer value, don't do it. But if it does offer value, deliver value as quickly as possible to the business so they can begin to take advantage of it. 5, recognize and respond to system interactions. Think in a systemic way. Don't think in a silo as a project manager. The segue into integration is systemic thinking. In the PMBOK Guide, Chapter 2, we talk about systems. And a system is a collection of subsystems and subcomponents to give a more effective, more robust delivery of a solution a product, a service, a result, or the company as a whole. When we think in this systemic way, we look for opportunities to enhance the system. Systems thinking is covered very deeply, more than any other PMBOK guide, in the 6th edition and chapter 2. Take a look at those management elements. Take a look at those elements that trigger an organization type and understand the context of those. Number 6, motivate, influence, coach, and learn. In other words, develop team. What is the difference between coaching and mentoring? Coaching asks the pregnant questions that enable the mentee to unload answers from within that they never even knew existed within them. Mentoring, on the other hand, is leveraging on experience of the mentor to guide the mentee through answers that the mentor believes is or are relevant to the mentee. 7, tailor the delivery approach based on context. How big is the project? How expensive is it? What's your budget? What are the different parts of complexity revolving around the project? Should this be fully plan-driven? Are we in some sort of emergent type of project where we are in discovery mode? Then we should use Agile. If everything is set in stone with milestones, perhaps we use a predictive approach. Perhaps we use an Agile approach for the development, but we use a predictive approach for the delivery. Hence, the hybridization. Perhaps we do a combination all at once, hybrid, all the way, predictive one layer, Agile another layer simultaneously. These are ways you can tailor the delivery approach based on context. 8, build quality into processes and results. Why? Because without quality, all you're doing is delivering a product that is not conforming to requirements, because primarily quality is conforming to those stakeholder requirements. Fitness for use, customer satisfaction. If those 3 components are not met, then quality has not been achieved. And that is tantamount to failure on the project. So build quality into processes and results. Number 9, address complexity using knowledge, experience, and learning. Experience is, of course, the best teacher, and those project managers and those subject matter experts and those technical experts who have been down similar journeys on other projects, they know complexity when they see it. They can detect complexity a mile away. And that is why I tell project managers, bring in the SMEs. We can never do it as well as they do. They've got the experience, they've got the expertise, they've got the knowledge, and many times the project manager does not. Sometimes the project manager does, but more often than not, the subject matter experts are those we need to bring in. Number 10, address opportunities and threats, which I spoke about at large. 11, be adaptable and resilient. In other words, put on your agile thinking cap. Stay relevant to the industry. Do boundary spanning and understand what is going on in the industry. Understand what your competitors are doing, understand what is coming down the pike in a futuristic way, and see the future. Stay relevant to the industry. 12, enable change to achieve the envisioned future state. To get from state A to state B, change must be enabled. Projects are the vehicles for change. How do we get to our strategic business objectives? In baby steps of projects. So for those of you who are still on the journey to becoming certified professional project managers, I would like to invite you to the website, pmsucceed.com, where we are starting a PMP exam pilot coaching session on Saturday. We expect that you join us down the road in the future for some other flavors of this training. But if you are taking the pilot test for the PMP exam, sign up while the price is right, because this deal is an absolute steal. We will be breaking down the syllabus presented by the PMI for the 2020 exam. But those of you studying for the current exam could benefit a whole lot from this training and coaching at this ridiculous rate. In addition to this, be aware that I will be giving out some absolutely mind-blowing freebies. I will not announce what these are, but I would advise you in your best interest, sign up, because this deal is an absolute steal. If you have any questions about anything I've shared today, please send them in. Put them right there below this video, and I'll look forward to speaking to you in the future. Again, the website to go to is www.praizion. We offer project management training, Microsoft project training, agile training, training in leadership and communications, training in professional development across the code of ethics, cognitive ability, being effective, the whole 9 yards. So invite us to help your team grow and develop as project managers. Thank you very much. It's your friend Phil here. All the best, and don't forget, leave your comments on the PMI's draft for the PMBOK Guide 7th edition, and underscore the importance to them, just in case they forgot, which I hope not, on the importance of the practices of project management, not just the principles, because I get a feeling that some of us think they've moved away from this. It is important PMI stays the course by supporting these principles with equally great practices as encapsulated right now in this current edition. There's no point in getting rid of what works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It works. I know it works. How do I know that the processes in the PMBOK Guide work? Because not only do I train this, I have used this across aerospace, banking, healthcare, engineering, IT. The principles are great, but without the processes and the practices, I can assure you they will absolutely not sustain the efforts that many of us need to put in. They will not provide the right amount of horsepower, to put it that way, that we need across organizations. Have you ever been in an organization where people just don't get it? They don't know what to do. You need to lead them. You need to handhold these individuals, not by methodologies, but by a framework that is built on practices and processes as well. It's your friend Phil here, keeping it real for you. And the reason why I come to you today to present this information is I want to propel you to lend your voice to the importance of the practices of project management. So go to that link that the PMI has provided. Put your comments on that draft and let your voice be heard.